I thought I was recording. So like I did all the setup, like I walked over, I took my hoodie off, I lit my incense, I set the intentions or whatever. It's probably a good thing I found out now by my camera going off due to it being inactive, rather than me perceivably shoot this whole video for it to have not been recorded. So, pretty. Your thoughts dictate your feelings dictate your actions dictate your beliefs, and your beliefs dictate your reality. All that is cool, whatever, right? But what is it that dictates your thoughts? I would say your environment. Because think about it. Your brain doesn't actually think like the way we think it does. It kind of just reacts to stimulus. Like, why is it we feel so differently when we're on holiday? Or like, for a crazy example, say you're born and you're the only person in the world. Think how differently you would behave, because there'd be no like programming or anything like that. There'd be no societal norms. There'd be no like peer pressure. There'd be no corporate structures. There'd be nothing. You'd just, like, who knows, you'd be so primitive. You'd be like, you wouldn't be able to distinguish you from like an animal, really. With environment being that important, like they say that environment's more important than heredity. Who your ancestry, all of that different jazz. Imagine, say you're poor now, but say you was born in like Dubai by like rich parents, like you was fostered or something. So you just grew up with the notion that these are your parents and not actually like your actual parents. And you just grew up like that. You'd grow up, you'd get like a high prestigious job, you'd do whatever it is you need to do to maintain that success normally. No resistance, no friction, no identity. Because a little context about the situation, it's a bit odd. I am in the middle of a forest right now. It is about 8:30 p.m. That's why the lighting's not so great. And if you think about it for a second, like what even is a forest? Like, it's just all these different plants that grow together in harmony and just create this environment where, I mean, this is a little bit off topic, but when you're in it, you just feel better. The vibration's different. You breathe the air. It's like, it's just, I've got hay fever, so it's a little bit crazy for me. But when you're just in this area, you just feel better. Like, I sat down, I meditated before this for like 10 minutes, and I just sat down and just looked around and soaked up the environment, and it just made me feel better. But anyway, back on topic, like a forest, like what even is it? When we think about what it is, it's actually crazy how these things just form, how these trees just come together. Like, at one point, all these trees were like just tiny different beings. And then over time, like hundreds of years or whatever else, have just grew into these massive things. And if we think about trees for a second, just like us, because not to be weird or abstract, right, but we're kind of similar to trees in the sense that if we're not in the right environment, we won't grow. It's obvious with trees, like the second you take a tree out of like its environment, like the second you take a tree or a plant or whatever else, the second you take it out of the soil which it needs to grow, and you take it out of its environment, like it doesn't grow. And when I talk about this, I'm just thinking about it because I've got these plants at home, right? And I just took ownership of them recently. I don't know why. And essentially, these plants, as far as I've seen them, as long as I've seen them, like, they've never grown. They've kind of just stagnated as if they were like artificial plants or anything. And just a side note, stagnation is the same as going backwards. Like, if you're not going forwards, you're going backwards. Yeah, and these plants, they just kind of stayed the same. But it's crazy what happened when all I did was I took the plants out of the like dried out soil they were in, because I've got these like desert plants. I've got a cacti and a succulent and this other one which looks like beans, like they're just stood really upright. I've got these 3 plants, and all I did was just repot them, put them in some new soil. They don't need watering often, right? Like maybe once a month. I sprayed the plants and I just left them. I swear to God, less than a month, all of these plants have like doubled in size. It's like magic. And it's the same with humans. Like, it's magic what can happen when you just change your environment. Say you've got a friend that's holding you back, and it kind of keeps you trapped in this like echo chamber, if you like. And it's just crazy what can happen when you just remove yourself from that situation. You just count yourself out. I can just think of myself, and it's like, I'm only 23 years old, but it feels like I've lived 10 different lives. Like, for example, going on the idea of the environment, I remember when I was like 6, 7 years old, I'm going to put some clips. I used to be a professional scooterer. Like, can you imagine? I used to ride scooters for a living. Obviously, I didn't get paid. I was really young, and I weren't that good. But I had a sponsorship. I used to get free scooter parts. Like, I got given a free scooter, what was worth like £300. Yeah, like I used to go to tournaments, win tournaments. I was pretty good. Like I used to do tricks and different things. Like I rode scooters for like 5 years or whatever else. If you asked me anything to do with scooters back in the day, I could have told you anything. Like what kind of scooter you need depending on your height, the different types of scooter wheels and bearings that you need, the different size handlebars and what material you need for your deck, like what width of the scooter deck you need, what length. I could have told you everything, like even to the point where like, obviously the scooter wheels are made of rubber, right? And there's rubber around like a wheel. And then there's different types of wheels, like different sizes, obviously. The bigger the wheel, the faster it would go, but there's like different downsides and drawbacks to the different sizes. And then like, there's hard rubber wheels where they go faster, but it's not as comfortable of a ride versus like softer wheels, which are more comfortable. You can do tricks and have more leeway, because if you do a trick wrong, it lands and it slides a little bit. But with the grippy wheels, you can literally do a trick and you've got a little bit more leeway, and it's just a more comfortable experience. But the downside to that being is the softer wheels don't last as long, like the D hub, which is where the rubber separates from the wheel and they break. And some of these wheels were like £70 for a pair. And you know what I mean? So there's that whole framework. And for 5 years of my life, I was a scooterer. If somebody asked me what I was, I'm a scooterer. That's what I do for a living. It's all I think about. The second I'm outside of school, that's all I'm doing. Or another example, I used to literally be an Instagram model, like an influencer or whatever. Like now that whole idea is really saturated, and Instagram's just this like, I don't even know the word. It's like this pit. It's like this pit of just short form content and flashy like 50 clips in a 5-second video. It's just crazy what happened. But back in the day when I started being an Instagram model and influencer, I remember I had 0 followers. I was like 15 years old when I started. Like Instagram was a different world 8 years ago, or however long it was. Like you could only post 1 picture at a time. There was no videos or shorts or Instagram TV or whatever jazz is going on over there anymore. It was literally just you post 1 picture and that's it. And you know, that's what I did. And I got to about 60,000 followers in the end. And I'm fast forwarding a little bit, because towards the end, like my one mission in the day was to go out and take pictures. So like I was thinking about where I can go to shoot my different pictures, like different backgrounds and spicing things up, where I'm going to get my next outfit from. Because I used to buy my own outfits. Like I used to piece together my outfits, like what proportions work best for an outfit. Where am I going to get the outfit from? Because I used to wear all these like designer clothes, what are rare. Like I used to buy clothes from all around the world and have them arrive. I used to get given clothes, and I used to get paid to post on Instagram sometimes. All I was thinking about all day was, you know, how can I get the picture done? What background? What outfit? Who I'm going to hang out with next? What event I'm going to go to next? You know, when my next paid campaign is going to be? How I'm growing my followers? How I'm marketing myself? How I'm presenting my branding on Instagram? And so I was doing that for 5 years, and then I was hanging around. Like I forgot to mention, when I was scootering, I was hanging around different scooters as well. So essentially, anytime I'm not at school, I'm at the skate park with my scooter friends. Going back to the idea of modeling, I used to hang around Instagram models who had hundreds of thousands of followers, and we used to go to networking events and like just talk about different people inside of that realm. And so I was all consumed by that for like for several years. And then even before the Instagram influencing and before the modeling, before the Instagram influencing and before the scooter, and I used to be a swimmer, and I was fixing to become like an Olympic swimmer at one point. Like they wanted me to take it to the next level and start going to the swimming. They wanted me to start going swimming every day after school, and I just didn't want to do it, so I ended up quitting. But I swam for years, and I was pretty good at swimming. Like I had all my badges. I had my gold, silver, bronze badge. I'd swam a mile. I'd done all the different things like for swimming. I don't really remember that as much because it was a long time ago. And so there's all these different realities. It's like even now with entrepreneurship, I'm really starting to get into this reality. I'm looking at different entrepreneurs who have been able to quickly change their lives. I'm looking at like from as mainstream as Iman Gadzi to Charlie Morgan. We got Jordan Platten. We got Matt Shields, Joel or Joe Kaplan or something like that. Got Eric Cavallars, Serge Guattari is this black guy who makes like, I swear he's like my age, and he literally makes like 5, 6, 700,000 a month, like doing online. I don't want to try and guess what it is he does. He does like, he calls it B&R. It's like a business model that he kind of mustered up, where it's like he builds infrastructures for businesses and sells it to them at like 15, 20,000 per infrastructure. And so I'm thinking about different things like that, to as macro as like Elon Musk. I read his autobiography by Walter Isaacson, Russell Brunson with the .com Secret series. We've got Alex Hormozy, Layla Hormozy. Man, what's his name? We've got Sam Ovens, Alex Becker, Sam Ovens, and like the whole school idea, and looking at different business models and agency and drop shipping and learning sales and being like learning about SDRs. I think SDRs are closers, and learning about appointment setters, which I think are SDRs, and learning about closers and the different sales processes and tonality and B2B, B2C, BizOp, which is like where you're selling to people who want to start businesses. And there's all these different frameworks that I'm learning about business, which is just changing my life, right? So it's like life is just one huge framework. And when you realize that and you start to see life in terms of frameworks, everything, your whole perspective on life just shifts. It's like I look at my life in the past and I just look at all these different frameworks. Environment is so important, man. And I think I don't even realize to what extent it is, even now, because I've got things in my life that are going on which I'm like, I probably should change that and I probably should do that. It's crazy. I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days, just the importance of environment. Like, because I love to learn about different philosophies and add into my own philosophy. Like, I got these kind of realizations and stuff from my era when I was looking at like Bob Proctor teachings.
I thought they're all bums in here. They were. Then I thought, geez, I must be a bum too, because I'm always here. I'm one of them. They're one of me.
And I know Matt Shields talks about this idea of environment in an interview I watched of him, like a podcast interview I watched of him recently. And that's what actually inspired me to make this video, just talk about environment and just come up with some realizations. But I'm just in the middle of a forest. I don't know how my eye contact is looking because I'm not really looking at the camera. I'm able to think clearer and get my points across better when I'm not looking at the camera. So I'm hoping it doesn't look too antisocial, but I thought I'd just throw in this video one take and just see what my heart comes up with and what I come up with. I don't know if people are going to watch this. Like, I've been looking at my retention and being like, why aren't my videos getting watched? But essentially what's going to happen is, because I'm not exactly an authority figure on what it is I'm talking about right now, people are kind of brushing it over. But when I start to make real money, this is like a documentation journey. So when I start to make a lot of money and become an authority on the subject, like what I did is I started YouTube videoing like this whole idea of my entrepreneurship journey before I actually had any experience whatsoever. So what you're seeing is like one giant learning curve where I'm starting out as like a complete beginner, and then I'm going to like learn the processes and different systems. What people normally do in this space is they learn the systems and the infrastructures, and then they come to YouTube already as an authority figure, so they haven't really got a story. What I'm doing, like what Iman Gadji did, is I'm documenting from the start. I'm sharing all my realizations and stuff now. I'm trying not to leave anything, any page unturned, if you like. I'm trying to showcase all of my thoughts and realizations and ideas and epiphanies and paradigm shifts. So when I do make it and somebody wants a blueprint for somebody what looks like me, like I'm trying to I'm trying to inspire black people to show them that we can do this, we can all do this. It's not limited to certain people. And if I can do it, you can do it. So that's what I'm trying to show here in my journey. So I'm just trying to show all my epiphanies, ideas, thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and paradigm shifts. And that's what I'm doing here. So I'm documenting everything. And you know what? Some of the thoughts that I'm having, I might change them or add to them over time. If I shoot a YouTube video with a similar title time and time again, it's because I've had further realizations on the idea and I'm just adding to it. I'm just correcting myself. So don't take what I'm saying too seriously. I'm still just really early in the game, and I'm just enjoying the process, and I'm learning, and I'm committing, and I'm overcoming self-doubt and all the different hardships when it comes to going down a new endeavor. But yeah, I appreciate you guys being on this journey with me. I'm literally uploading a video, and like I was starting to get a lot of traction, and my videos were starting to get views, and then YouTube was like, nah, we're gonna take all of this away. So they took my reach away, and now I'm kind of like I'm kind of behind where I was at the start. So my videos aren't getting a lot of views, but I understand that YouTube's an organic platform, and then over time, like when I start to really blow up, all my videos will blow up. So I feel like the more context I have before I blow up, the better I will blow up, and the more it will be like of meaning. So I'm just talking about what it is I want to talk about. I'm not pandering to the platform too much. I'm just talking about, you know, the things I'm passionate about. So when I do blow up, I attract people who like me for me, and I get to kind of create my own bespoke audience where I can impact the people who I really do want to impact. And I'm, you know, I'm just not pandering to the platform. So if you're watching this to the end, I really do appreciate you. And I know most of you are going to be watching it to the end further down the line when I'm an authority figure. But if you're watching this to the end before like say this is a year old now, so it's Monday the 3rd of June 2024 right now. If you're watching this to the end within a year of me posting this, you are an absolute legend. And what's special about you is you can see potential in people before other people can, and you're not a trend follower. Like, you have your own sense of self and intuition and ideas and beliefs, and that will take you far. I've switched over to day shift now, so what I'm going to do when I get home, I just shot my first VSL for my agency funnel. So I made an agency funnel, which I'm going to start running Facebook ads for. And what I've done is I've shot my VSL for it. I'm going to edit it when I get home before I go to bed. And I'm going to go to sleep at about 12 o'clock. So I've got quite a lot of work to do. This has been a really nice chat. It feels good to just talk about these kind of things, because I don't really get to go into depth like this with people in my environment at the moment. I'm working on that. I've got a vision board, and on my vision board, I've got like pictures of Dubai and different stuff like that. I understand that all the entrepreneurs and different, entrepreneurs and people like me, the outcasts, the people who the environment that they found themselves in at the start wasn't really one that they wanted to be in. So they strived, and they become the best version of themselves, so they could be in an environment where they're celebrated and not tolerated. So yeah, I feel like the people in Dubai, is where that's where my like-minded people, that's where my entrepreneurs are, and that's what I'm striving to do within like the next year. I want to move to Dubai, obviously tax-free, that's the incentive, but essentially just being around success and opulence and wealth. Like, I want to get to the point where I'm so rich, so wealthy, and it's just so normal in my life. I'm actually seeking to find moments of normality, find moments of non-richness and non-opulence to kind of remind me of my past self. And I noticed that with Iman Gadji at the moment. Like, he is so rich, he's kind of being like anti-rich now. Like, when you're rich at the start, you kind of want to flaunt that in a sense, and you want to have the nice car and different things like that. But what I've noticed with Iman is, even though he was the same starting out on his journey, he's been rich for so long and it's so normalized. He's kind of seeking out normal things. Like, he says his favorite car, even though he's got all these different cars, his favorite car is his like Mini Cooper. Or how he uses AirPods with the wires, and anytime he sees people wearing AirPods with the wires, he has like a respect for them and how he likes them, which I just think is funny, right? Like, because him 5 years ago would have looked to people with like, the AirPod Pros and thought, yeah, that guy's cool. You know what I mean? So it's like a full circle in a sense, and I wanna do that. I'm looking forward to that in myself, like, to where I'm so rich. It's like I'm looking out for those moments of normality in a sense, just taking it in. Like I said, I appreciate you being on this journey with me. Yeah, I'm gonna get this VSL made. Ooh, it's really dark. I'm wearing a Funnel Hacker t-shirt, and the hilarious thing is, this is Russell Brand's ClickFunnels. Like, when you sign up for ClickFunnels, I believe you get given a free t-shirt. I'm not actually signed up to ClickFunnels. Like, I am Mr. Go High Level. It's just, I don't know if people use ClickFunnels that much anymore, just because there's more optimal software out right now. But I brought this t-shirt off Vinted for like £5, just because I'd read the .com Secrets series and I wanted a Funnel Hacker t-shirt. So I just wear this to bed, to be honest. And I got my thing here, I got my phone here, I got my hoodie. I'm gonna have to dust that off so there's no bugs on it. My incense, I'm gonna wait for this to burn out before I get back to the car. Like, I've got 1.4 aperture right now, so this is like giving me a lot of brightness, but my ISO is like 125. It's not really dark, but it's pretty dark. This video is 24 minutes long, and I've been chatting the whole time. I don't know how much I'm gonna post. I feel like if I make too many videos, there's not gonna get watched, so I don't know what I'm gonna do. Anyway, good chat.